Here we are. Let's see. Oh, here it is. All right. I guess we're live now. So, hello everybody. My name is Pascal, and I am the developer behind the Laravel FFMpeg package. This one. And I wrote it a couple of years ago. It was for a project where we needed to convert a lot of videos, and I thought it would be cool to do it with both Laravel and FFmpeg. And at the time there was a really cool PHP package. This one. PHP FFmpeg, which is actually just a wrapper around the command line tool. This one. This is actually a really great tool. It, like it said, it's a cross-platform solution. It can record, convert, stream audio and video. It's really amazing. You can just throw everything at it and it just does the job. You can convert videos from one codec into another. You can merge videos, merge audio and video. It's incredible. So I wrote this package, which became more popular than I ever thought it would be. So we're now at version 7, I think. Yes, 7.2. And there are always a lot of questions and issues about watermarks. Because a watermark, adding a watermark to a video it's actually really easy. But the underlying package, this one, it uses a filter with an array with some arguments, and it's a little bit verbose. So I thought it would be great to make it to make a simpler version of it. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's see. I'm quite new to this whole YouTube Studio and OBS thing, so let's see what I can do here. So yeah, so yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I sent out a tweet with a screenshot, a piece of code where instead of just doing the add filter thing, which is like a common thing in the FFmpeg package, I thought it would be cool to have a add watermark method. So yeah, let's build this. I set up a little test to show you how it works nowadays. So here it is. So I've got just a little video here. It's like 5 seconds. Doesn't really matter what it is. And I've got my company logo. So what this test does, actually, it deletes the exported video of the previous run, which I will show you in a minute. We set up the watermark filter, which is actually just a filter that comes with the underlying FFmpeg package. And the filter takes 2 arguments. The first one is the path of the logo, or like the path of your watermark. And the second one is an array with some coordinates. You can see that right here. Watermark path. And it should be a local path. You can just throw a URL to it. It doesn't work. And here's the coordinates array, which is a little bit verbose. You know, when you're gonna use it, you always have to look up the documentation to see what it really does, which is also bothering me a bit. But besides that, it works great. So here's a bunch of code where it actually compiles it into a filter, or it compiles it into a command that FFmpeg understands. So that's this thing. It is my app logo, my company logo at the app folder. I want to position it at the bottom right. So here I open my file. I want to export it in this H.264 format. I add the watermark filter and I save it to this path. And when this is done, I assert that the watermark video exists. So let me show it to you. No video yet. Let's run this. Just give it a second. Yeah, there it is. And here it is. Video with watermark. Let's see. Here it is. I shall make this a bit smaller. There is my logo. Let's run it again. So yeah, let me prove to you that this thing really works. Let's put it in the top left. Save it. Oh, there it goes. It's rendering again. Just give it a second. And now it's in the top left. So yeah, that's cool, right? So what I want to do, instead of doing this, I just want to do something like add watermark and then give it a closure. Well, let's just use watermark for now. Something like this, and then in the same way as we open content with the FFmpeg package, I just want to say watermark open my logo. Something like this. So what this actually does is it does this from disk and then local. But you can just remove this if you're opening it from a local disk. So this uses Laravel's file system. So now I'm using this local driver. But you can also use a S3 driver, S3 bucket, or maybe an FTP server if you're really old-fashioned. So yeah, you could do something like this. You can even export it to another disk, like this. It all works really great. So yeah, what I want to do is watermark from disk. Let's build this as well. Local and open this file. So let's do this. Something like this. So first let's build this thing. It's kind of a watermark factory or something like that. Not exactly sure how you how we would call it, but let's go with watermark factory. So I create so this by the way, this is just a fresh Laravel 8 app with only the FFmpeg package installed. That's it. So let's create a new folder and we call this one filters. Because the Laravel FFmpeg package does not come with any filters. All the filters we use are filters that come with the underlying package. So let's create a new file. Watermark factory. I think that's cool for now. So, and we're gonna base this thing. Yeah, let's use the media opener for now. Because I just wanna, this is the one I'm looking for from disk. This is the one we're gonna use. So I'm gonna be really lazy. Adjust the namespace. We call this one watermark factory. We don't need this. We don't need this. And we only want the, do we want, yeah, no, we don't want this. Whoop. We just want the default disk. If we don't use the from disk method. So we can remove this as well. From disk. And then I guess there is an open. Yeah. Well, what we want in the end is this. And we want a media object. This is one of the things in the FFmpeg package. Let's open it and look in it. So what this thing does, it's just a wrapper around a disk and a path. That's it. And the great thing about this is this disk thing can also be an external disk. So it can be an S3 bucket or a FTP server. So this thing handles the whole online-offline situation. So you can pass in an S3 bucket and a path, and this thing just downloads it to your local disk, to a temporary file, and then pass it into FFmpeg. So FFmpeg doesn't really care about S3 or FTP. So I just want to reuse this because this is perfect. So let's create a method called open, and it takes the path and it returns a media object. So return media. Let's import that one. I think it has a static make method. So make with this disk and the path. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, do we really want this? Is this a good idea? No, this is not a good idea. Because we want to make this thing fluid. So at the end, we want to do this. So no, this is not a good idea. Let's not do this. Let's just add a new property called path, and let's just set it. This path is path, and then return this instance. So like this. This is better. Is this better? We still want that media object for external files. So it's not entirely better. I'm going to change this to media. No. Let's refer it. This is going to be media. We're going to set the media object and we're going to return this. Yeah, this is the way we want it. Yes, this is great. So we don't have to pass in the disk because we set a default in the constructor. And when we open a path, it just instantiates this media object with the disk and the path. And you get the factory back. Yeah, this is really what we wanted. Cool. Yeah, that's nice. So the underlying package has this watermark filter object, and you can choose between relative and not relative by just not passing it in. But by not passing it in, you need to provide an X value, also something like 50, and a Y value, which is just like your offset from the left and the offset from the top. We can see that right here in the filter itself, because when you set it to relative, the Y value is just the top and the left value is just the X. So I think top is much better than left, right? Sorry, top is much better than Y. Y also makes sense, but top is a little bit more like you would position elements in CSS. I think top and left is better, and bottom and right, of course, as well. So let's not bother about X and Y. I just want to be able to say top, left, right, bottom. Yeah, that's what we're gonna build. So let's add these coordinates to this factory. Top, right, bottom, left. And then we need some setters for these as well. Let's do something fancy right here. Oh, I hate it when this fails. So public function top. Let's give it a value property, and then this is value, and return this self. Right, this is great. But here comes the thing. You can't set top and bottom at the same time. It doesn't make sense. You always want or top or bottom, right? Same's true for left and right. You either want left or right. So when I set top to value, I just want bottom to be nothing. No. Same for right. When you set right, you set left to no. When you set bottom, you set top to no. And when you set left, you set right to no. So there's never going to be confusion about these values. I think that's a cool thing. So let's get back to this test. What we've built so far, well, this relative thing, it's always gonna be relative, right? We're not gonna use the X and Y values. So you're always gonna say open logo from local disk and put it in the bottom right. So bottom 50 and then right 50. And that's it. So we want to replace this stuff with this. So somehow FFmpeg under the hood should know about this watermark filter. So let's build this. Because we kind of built this. We could now do this without breaking it. Yeah. So let's get to the driver, which is where the add filter method is located. So around here we want to add the add watermark method, and let's instantiate the watermark factory. So watermark factory, this is the thing we just built, right? Oh, new. I always return this. So and then what do we want? We want in the end a watermark filter. Somehow we want to have a watermark filter, and we want it from the factory. So this equals watermark factory, and then we need to do something like create filter or make filter, or just cat, maybe just cat. That's cool. Yeah, cat's fine. So let's add this method here. Public function cat, and this should return the watermark filter. The watermark filter from the underlying library, I should say. So let's do it. We're gonna get the coordinates, which are always relative. We just decided relative. Typing is hard. So let's do this. If this top is not null, let's add it to the coordinates array. And let's do the same for right, bottom, and left. And let's make this a bit more beautiful. Of course, we should just we should just refactor this at some point, because this looks like shit, but for now it's fine. So we need the path of the watermark filter. And as you might remember, we set the media object right here. And this media object has a method. And that method name is something, yeah, it's this one, get local path. So this method is really cool, I think. It checks if the disk is a local disk. And when it's a local disk, it just returns the complete path of your watermark. If it's not a local disk, it just creates a temporary directory. It writes the logo from the external disk, just from your S3 bucket or from your FTP server or whatever, to that temporary directory on your local machine or on your server. And then it returns the path to that temporary file. So either way, you're gonna get this method returns a local path. So now we can just return a new watermark filter with that path from the media, and then the array. And let's write a little test for this to be sure we just don't make some stupid mistake along the line. So new file, watermark factory test. Watermark factory test. Yeah. Let's move all this crap. And this can be just a PHP unit test case. We don't need the complete Laravel test case overhead. So what are we gonna test? It creates no. What does this thing do? It gives the complete path of the watermark to the watermark filter. Let's begin with this. So let's instantiate a factory. New watermark factory. And open our logo, which is non-existing at this point, but I don't think it really matters. Yeah. Let's get the filter out of it without the coordinates, but I don't think that's a problem. And just spit it out for now. Ah, an error, of course. Okay, yeah, we're gonna need the Laravel test case. Yeah, because of the storage handling, of course. I could have known that. So what's the problem now? Does not oh yeah, we need this. Yeah, we need this trait. So let's import. Oh yeah, it's in the same namespace, so alright. Yeah, there it is. So this is cool. This is what we wanted. Let's see if we can get the path out of the watermark filter. Sorry, I'm just clicking around. It's watermark filter. Where are you? Here you are. So can we get this path out of this? No. There's no way to do this. Hmm. All right, just let's call this apply method. Yeah. Here's my test. So here's the filter. Let's assert that this is really a filter, first of all. So assert instance of, and then we give it the watermark filter and pass in the actual object. Let's remove this and let's see if this gets through. Yeah, this actually works. So this is cool. This is fine. Now let's get the commands out of the filter. And let's just mark this video and video interface for now. This is actually really cool. In the Laravel test helpers, yeah. I think it's a trait maybe. There's a mock method. So instead of doing this, mockery mock, you can just say mock, this mock. Also works great with the container. And what was it? Video interface? Maybe not. Let's see if this works. Yeah, works fine. Oh yeah, here it is. So we get two commands back. And what we want to make sure of is that the path is in the second command. So this assert string contains string. I think that's a thing. The needle. What are we looking for? Storage path app logo. Because remember, this actually falls back to the file system configuration, to this one. So yeah, your local disk is located at storage. Oh, sorry for that. Storage app. And here's your content. So this should be the same as this, of course. Assert string contains string. It should be in the second command. Let's run it again. And yeah, we get green, which is always a good thing, right? So here's our test to prove that the handling of the path works. Now let's add a second test for the coordinates. So another test. It sets the coordinates. No, it gives. It doesn't set anything. It gives the coordinates to the watermark filter. So again, let's just grab this for now. Factory. Let's test it with top and left. So top, maybe 50. Bottom, no. This is a big mistake. Top 50, left 50. And we can just make this fluid. Isn't that awesome? Open the logo from top and left. Yeah, that's cool. And we're gonna grab the filter out of it. And let's just dump it for now. What does it look like? Yeah. Awesome. Let's grab the command. What does that look like? So here we are. Movie is the watermark path, and then some commands, doesn't really matter. Overlay 50/50. So let's take another look at the watermark filter, see if we can get the coordinates out of it. No. There's probably some clever way that I don't know of. Alright, let's do the same thing. That's fine. Yeah, worked great. And now what we're gonna test. Now we're gonna swap it for bottom and right. So switch from top to bottom, switch from left to right. So we're gonna call the factory again with bottom 50, right 50. And we're gonna get from the factory the filter and then apply, blah blah blah. Commands again. Let's dump it. So this thing is a bit more complicated, which is fine with me. Yeah, so here it is. Instead of just like I said earlier, the left thing is the same as the x value, and the top is the same as the y value. And when you pass in a bottom and a right, it just grabs the complete height of it. So that's just main height, I think. Minus your bottom coordinates, right? Minus the overlay, and the overlay is the watermark itself, I think. But that's just guessing. And it does the same thing for the x value. Main width minus your right coordinate minus. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I understand it. So for now, I'm just completely fine with just grabbing this thing. Let's put it here for a minute. Whoop. Let's run it again. And we get green again. So this is great. We've now got a working watermark factory where we test almost everything. We didn't really test this from this command, which we can do later on. It's not a big deal, I think. So let's go back to our watermark test. The first thing I showed you. We're still stuck here at watermark. Let's go back to our FFmpeg driver. So we got a factory and we want to give that factory to the closure we're passing in. So we've got a callable here. Let's call the thing with watermark factory. Let's call it with the factory. So how does this work? We're instantiating a new watermark factory, and that factory we give to this callable closure, which is actually this thing right here. So here's our closure, here's our factory. We do a bunch of things with this factory, and then we continue right here. So after we've done our thing with the factory, we're gonna get that filter, and all we have to do is just add this filter, watermark filter. I think this is it. Yeah, this should work. Let's see. Let's clean up a bit. Let's no. Yeah, well, let's clean up. Who gives a shit? So let's remove this file manually and loop through it again. We delete, no, we just did this manually, but you get the idea. We delete the previous run. We open the video file. We want to export it in this H.264 format. Then we call our new watermark method, which gives us the factory. And then with that factory, we open a file from the local disk. And again, this is just the storage disk we configured in our Laravel file system configuration file. We open the logo file and we give it the coordinates, the bottom 50, right 50. And that's it. Let's see if it works. We get green. So something has been saved. And here it is. It's amazing. Let's change this to top left. And run it again. To see if it really works. Yes, get green again. I'm gonna show you the video, and there it is in the top left. This is great. So here we are. We should probably do a little bit of cleanup, but that's not that interesting for now. So there's one more thing I want to show to you. And that's a pull request from someone. Where do I have it? Oh, here it is. This pull request was submitted by Not Bad Code. Great name. Not much to show here, but what this pull request does is instead of using things like top, right, bottom, left, it has this list of presets. So it does have a thing called top left, top center, top right, bottom left. Yeah, it's like a 3x3 grid where you can choose where to put your watermark. And at the same time, it also supports coordinates. So you can, here it is. So you give it a place. He calls it a place. I don't know if it's a he, but it's a place. And then you have an X and Y coordinate, which is just like an offset thing. So I want to do something with this, because this is great. Yes, how else are you gonna... Yeah, you could manually calculate the center of your video, but that's just really verbose. Would be great if we could use something like this. So top left, yeah. I think I'm just gonna copy paste it in, and let's make this work. So how should how do I want to use this? Like this, top open logo from local disk. I think I just want to do something like top left. And then maybe give it an offset. So something like 50, 50. If that makes sense. Not really. Maybe something like this. Offset X and Y. I think that's better. I think that's much better. Because that's really, that makes it really clear, I think. I'm still not convinced, because what happens when you choose bottom center? Well, let's just figure out, right? So we can't use this watermark filter because we are a bit stuck with this pattern, which is completely fine for what we've built until now. But we've got to come up with something else. Right. So let's get back to our factory. I'm just thinking where I want to put this. Because we don't want to necessarily return a watermark filter. What we do want to return is a video filter. And it doesn't really matter if that's a watermark filter or one of our own filters. So let's change this to video filter interface for now. And then maybe we have a little if preset, then return custom filter. Something like that. That should be fine, right? Because the underlying FFmpeg filter has a custom filter object. This one. Where you can just pass in the filter. Yeah, we're gonna use this. I think. Yeah. Or maybe we can just create a new filter, a completely new filter. Yeah, that's a better option. That's a better option. We don't want to be dependent on this custom filter thing, even if it maybe works great. Because what does this give us? Only this, right? That's not worth it. So we're gonna, how are we gonna call this thing? Like maybe advanced watermark or preset watermark. Yeah, preset's fine. Positioned. Still thinking about the naming. Naming is hard, as always. Yeah. Let's start with this top left example. So let's remove this. Whoa. This should give us the same result, right? Top left, given an offset of 50 from the left and offset of 50 from the top. So somehow we need to build this thing, this top left filter thing. So let's go back to a factory. And I'm just gonna I'm just gonna copy this. Not sure still. just only you just want to do this, right? Yeah. Let's copy this. We even don't know if this works at all, but I guess it does. So let's clean up a bit. I need this as well. Let's remove this. And let's remove all these breaks. We don't need it. And let's transform each case into a method. Yeah. So public function. We don't need this preset place thing. Don't like it. Okay. Yeah. We want a lowercase. Oh, whoa. Lowercase. And then uppercase and the rest lowercase. Return self. I'm making a big mistake here. Yeah. Never mind. Oh. And return this for now. I broke something. Yeah, this of course. Let's comment it out. Yeah, so now it's format, so we got something to look at. So whenever we call this top left thing, this is the thing we want to give to the watermark filter. Right? Yeah, absolutely. But at this point, we don't know X and Y yet. So somehow these two need to be replaced later on. So what we could do is make this callable again. Yeah, that would be nice. Let's just use sprintf for this. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So at this point, we need a new property, and we call this property maybe position or preset position. Wow, that's the one. Yes, that's the one. So let's select all these strings. This preset position is this, and then we're going to replace all the x values for, I think, this. Oh, forgot one. Yep. That's fine. And then we need the offset. Offset x and y. And let's add these methods as well. So public function offset x, it takes a value, returns this object, this offset x is and it's not this method is value. Return this, and we want the same for the y value. Yeah, this is what we want. And then, so this all works. No more errors. So instead of giving back a watermark filter, we want that custom filter, which maybe is not a great idea, but for now it should work. So we want to check if we have a preset position filled, right? And when we do, we're gonna call another method, return this get preset position filter. Again, not a great name, but who cares? Let's go back to the pull request. If no coordinates are, if these are empty, it should just be 0. So let's do that first. Offset x is this offset or 0. Same for the y value. Oh, that needs to be uppercase. Y. Yep, that's fine. And then let's just grab this. Oh. Nice, it just translated to not this one. So here we want the path and the overlay. So let's start with the path. We know what that is. This media get local path, just like the watermark filter right here. That's this one. And the overlay, that's with the sprint f. This preset position, and then give it the x and y values, right? Yes, and then we're gonna return a new custom filter, a video filter, and all we have to do is pass in this filter string. So we don't need this VF video filter. We don't need that. So we just give it this. Right. Again, I have no idea if this really works, but should be fine. So let's create a new test. It gives the coordinates to a custom filter by using the position. Did we call it position preset of preset position? What a shitty word. Preset position. Preset position. So watermark factory. Open a logo again. And then we're gonna call top left with an offset of 50 for both the top as well as the left. Yep, that's it. And yeah, we need this again. We should probably introduce a helper method to just get that second element of the array. Let's dump it. Overlay 50-50. We've seen that before, right? Let's just give it two different values to make sure it it passes the right value to the right position. Yeah, that's great. We should absolutely do that here as well. Top 25, overlay 25. Bottom 25, which is the height, so it's this one, I guess. Let's see. And I failed because contains 25. Ooh. Why? Why is this? Width. I'm not completely sure why this breaks, right? It should be the second value because I'm changing the bottom to 25. So why? Well, maybe I just don't understand how this overlay filter thing works in FFmpeg. So let's, well. Oh, there's another. That's just completely out of error. I know what's happening. This one is wrong. And now this one is wrong. That's just stupid. Yes, we're back at green again. So it's the second value that changes. So the first value is the x. Yeah, it's the x axis, and that's the y axis. That's it. So this corresponds with this. That's fine. So again, let's dump this. Back to our custom filter again. We see we have our logo. And here's the overlay. So I'm going to be really lazy today. I'm going to copy this over to here. Yeah, that's better. So before we get any further, let's just do a quick integration test to see if this works at all. So top left, 50-50. Let's run it. Oh, I've lost my folder. I think I've put it in my dock. Yeah, here it is. Storage, app. Yeah, there it is. So let's just play a bit with this. Top sender. Without any offset. Run it. It's rendering again. Incredible. Really, really incredible this. Give it offset of 50. Remove the semicolon. Run it again. So now I'm really curious about the offset X in the center position. So yeah, this works as expected. So what if we give this offset X of 200? It moves to the right, I guess. Still rendering. It does. It moves to the right. But can we give it a negative value? So minus 200. Run it again. Yeah, it does. Wow. This is cool, man. This is really cool. Didn't expect that to work so smoothly. So let's see for all these 9 presets if this just works. Would be great, right? Top right works as well. What's next? Center, center left. Nope. Wrong quick look. There it is. Center, center. I'm just thinking about a new idea. Because center, center just, it's again, it's just a little bit verbose. Yeah, it works. Amazing. Center right. Maybe I just want to say align horizontal left, align horizontal center. Because center right, what's the first one? Is center like vertical or horizontal? Also works. That's something we need to change, because this is just, this is great, but I still need to look up the order of bottom left. Center. Yeah, still works. Then there's only one more to check, and that's bottom right. We're already streaming for 1 hour. Time flies. Yeah, also fine. Wow. Like, this is great, right? So what I want to do, maybe not for now, but in the end I want to do something like horizontal alignment, or align horizontally. Is that a word? Let's Google it. I have no idea. Yeah, that's great. So maybe something like this, and then vertically centered. Yeah, I think that would be great. I'm still not sure, but it's better than bottom right, or in this case, left center. It's more expressive, and that's what's this whole package, and maybe that's what Laravel is really about. Like, not having to look up every little thing in the documentation, so you can just code fluidly, right? This is great, but it can be better. It can be better. So let's see. Can remove this. And that also, that's then we can also give it a second argument with the offset. So we can do open logo, set horizontal alignment, and then maybe something like a constant like left with the offset. That's great. That's great. This is what we need. This is what we need, I think. Set. I don't like the set prefix, but that's just a minor thing. So vertical would be top. So this would be the same as, correct me if I'm wrong, left, top, and then twice the offset methods. So offset x 50, offset y 50. This would be the same as this. And I like this one better, because we're using left and top again instead of this x and y thing, which we just removed from the simple filter, or simpler filter. you don't have to think about what comes first and what comes second, right? This is horizontal, but who knows? Could be vertical as well. Yeah. So maybe we should dive into these filters, like of course this is just the same for every center position. Yeah, it's just the same. Yeah. So I'm gonna do something really crazy right now. I'm gonna introduce 3 constants. Like I'm gonna call them align or just left. What am I mean, everyone knows what you mean by left and right and center. That's not something to prefix with align or something. So let's just do this. 3 constants. And we're gonna make preset position an array. This might be really stupid, I don't know. Yep. This is not stupid. This is cool. This is cool. And we don't need this anymore. Yeah. So what I want to do, so when you call that align horizontal, position maybe, which is like left, center, right, and then the offset, which by default is 0. Return this. And the position is always a string. Might help. And yeah, this is gonna be great. So let's do a little switch position. In the case of left, yeah, of course we're gonna have the left, center, and right. In that case, we want the second. Let's go back to this one again. So this is going to be X and Y. So horizontal is X, so this is going to be the first. Oh yeah, yeah, it's the first element of this array. It's going to be something. We're going to figure out what it is. Oh man, this is going to be good. So left, let's minimize this stuff, of course. Oh, what? No, I'm thinking the wrong way. We need this. We need this. Horizontals like this. Center left. What a mindfuck. So when we call center, let's go back to our. This would make it clear. So the first part of this overlay command is the X, the horizontal X. So let's see. If we center left, is so confusing, man. So the first part is just the it's the no, it's the vertical position. But we're setting, so we need this. Yeah, okay. No, it's not true. We need this. So that is just the offset, really. Of course. That's it. Center, center. This stuff is the same because it's centered. Yes, I'm getting there. So we need this in here, where this one is the offset again. And then for a right, again, this part is the same. So we need this. And this is the offset again. So this might be a bit confusing, but we're getting there. I promise. And then we do the same. Of course, we need bottom and top as well. Stupid me. Bottom, top, bottom. Now it makes sense. Let's just duplicate this whole thing. Align vertical, vertical. Then you have also center. That's why it's confusing. That's why it's confusing. So top is I think it's just the offset. So I'm gonna remove these. Whoop. No. Why should I? Yeah. Top is just this part. That's already fine. Then center is not this, because that's top. It should be this. No. Of course not. It's this, because that was same. Yeah. It's this. It's the same for all these horizontal alignments. It's this. And replace this with offset. And then the bottom is this part right here. I hope I copy pasted everything correctly, because there's no way back. You know what? This should not be null. This should just be 0, 0. Yeah, just 0, 0. If you don't want to align, it's just top left by default. That's completely fine. That's completely fine. So back to our get preset position filter again. We can remove this. And the overlay, the stuff we want to put in here. Oh, don't remove the path. That's just gonna be implode with a colon. This preset position, right? I'm gonna comment this out, so we can't use it anymore, which is fine. Yes, this is fine as well. Let's move this to the top. I don't like it there in the middle. So, back to our test. We set this to... This is all gone. Horizontal. I named this differently. Align horizontal left, which should be watermark factory left, and vertical top. this is just left top, right? Let's see how it works. At least it runs, which is always great. Yeah, we're back at green, and it's in the top left. That's great. So let's give it a bit of offset. Horizontal maybe not so much as vertical, so we can see the difference. So it should move a little bit to the right and something more to the bottom. And it did move to the right, but it did not move to the bottom. This is a bummer. Does this work? Maybe if I increase this value, like a lot, does it move further to the right? No, not at all. So something is going. This is not good. Oh, I know. I forgot to set this to 1. Great. Let's run it again with 25. Yeah, of course it's green. So yeah, now it's more to the bottom than it's to the right, which is great. Let's set this to 250, so that it should be at the same height, but more to the right. Yes, there it is. So yeah, it's cool. So now let's do center with no offset, and top just a little bit. Run it again. Here we are. Let's try again with a negative value of maybe 300. Run it again. Yep. Yes, still works. Right. Just gonna remove these values for now. No, let's make sure they work. Yeah, should have been a negative value, but it works. Although you might expect this to be 25 from the right. Right? Yeah, that's what you expect. But then again, just use the auto filter. Let's move to vertical alignment of center. Which let's give it a big value. We want to make sure this works. Maybe this value is a little bit too big. No, that's just fine. That works. So center again. Now I'm confused. So let's start with 0. That's the center. So move it a bit to the right, and move it a bit to the, yeah, which way? Bottom, I think. Yep. Yep. And this to the right, and now with a negative value of 100, and let's just align this. We don't need, yeah, whatever. Isn't FFmpeg just great? There it is. The only thing we have left to do is align this one vertically to the bottom. 0, let's start with left, both with a value of 50. And now I want a negative value here, because I don't want to lose my logo. I can see this being confusing, maybe. But I don't know what would be a great way to fix it. So center again, 0. If anyone has a great idea how to make this more expressive, I'd like to hear it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. And just right. Awesome. So in about 80 minutes, we just, well, before I close this thing, before we wrap it up, just write another test, because our test with this custom filter thing is, of course, completely broken. So what we were trying to do here is align it to the top left. So align, of course this breaks, horizontal left, yes, left with 50, and then align vertical top with 25. Let's see. Yeah, works. So I'm gonna just create a little helper method, which is called get second command, which takes the factory and returns a string. So what it does is just, it does this thing, return this, and then the second. So, oh, because I'm kind of tired of doing this. Comment is this, get second command from the factory. Let's see if I broke anything. No, this is fine. So let's even do this. Oh. Yeah, of course it doesn't work. I should put it here. This, man, get second command from the factory, and then this not needed. So whoop, great. And now we can just change these values to center and center here as well. Gonna copy paste this. Of course this is green. And then this one right, and vertical bottom. I guess we now have every combination possible. Yeah, it's still green. So yeah. So now we've completely unit tested our factory with the advanced. That's not what I meant to say. With the let's clean up. With the align horizontal and align vertical position stuff. Yeah, let's clean up this as well. This is a little bit shitty as well, I must say. But yeah, it's under 200 lines of code. It's a bit verbose. This as well. Can we do something about this in like in 2 minutes? Yeah, we can. So I'm gonna loop through all these positions and then just paste it in once. Remove these and then replace top with the attribute. And of course, this needs to be a variable and not a string. So let's run a test again. Oh, not this one. Where's my watermark? Factory test, just see if we broke anything. Yeah, oh, of course we did. Of course we did. Because this should not be... Haha. Of course, it always will return. This is always set, so not really great. Okay, this is really ugly, but no, not this one. So yeah, now we're back at green again. So everything works. So what we did. Let's go back to the beginning. Well, we've come a long way. So before we started this little experiment, there was quite a great way to add a watermark filter to your video. You open the video with the FFmpeg facade. You call the export method. We export it in the H.264 codec. We add the watermark filter. That's this one, which is actually just a filter that comes with the underlying FFmpeg filter package. That filter takes 2 arguments. The path of the watermark itself, which is my company logo. And then the second argument is an array to which you can give it coordinates. And then you save it. This is fine, but it's not really expressive. So what we did, we got rid of this entirely. We got rid of this. And now we have a new method called add_watermark, which gives you a watermark factory. And with that factory, you can just open your logo. So open logo. And you can even open it from a disk. So in this case, it's just a local disk, which I have configured here, which is just the default Laravel local disk. The root is the app folder in your storage path. So that would be this. right here. So we open that logo, and then we can, instead of that array, we just give it a bottom and left. This always needs a value. Well, by default, we just want this to be 0. So here it is, bottom left, and now this value is just the offset. So let's run it. There it is, bottom left with an offset of, what was it, 25, I think? Yeah, 25. So this is great. And what's I think is really cool is an even more expressive method called align horizontal. Maybe this should be horizontally, I don't know for sure. Horizontal left 25. And then align vertical bottom. And the thing I'm still worried about is this 25 is not the same as this 25. This should be minus 25, because otherwise your logo disappears from your screen, from the bounds of the video, really. So let's run this again. Let's see what it does. This is actually a stupid example because it's the same. So yeah, it works. But now you can also do center as well. Just a few more seconds. Oh, there it is. Here it is. Isn't it wonderful? Beautiful logo. So yeah, there it is. I'm gonna clean up a bit. Let's see. I think this is wonderful. So that was it for today. There's actually one more thing I wanna build, and that's resizing, because if you got a really huge logo, you can't resize it with FFmpeg. Or maybe there's a way, I don't know. But maybe what I want to do is something like resize 100 fit or something. Something like that, maybe with a background, or I'm thinking about using the Spatie package. I think it's called Spatie Glide, which is really, I looked it up. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is great, right? Modify. Something like this. I just want to do something like open this logo from this disk, modify it with these arguments, and then align it completely centered. That would be great, right? So that's for another time. Let's wrap it up, and thanks for watching. And I will make a pull request to my own repository, and this will probably be released in a few days. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.